Hello and welcome to Anfield Index. What is it? I don't know what Jack normally says. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, something along those lines. But welcome back to the channel. I'm not Gags, I'm not Jack, I'm not anyone that you know of. I'm brand new. I've been thrown right in at the deep end. Thank you very much for joining us because we're here today to go through all the latest and greatest Liverpool transfer news, all the best latest stuff that's been going on because it's been a very, very busy 24 hours. Obviously, everything that's gone on in recent weeks and all the tragic events that have occurred. You know, things took a bit of a break, bit of a week to sort of recover and go back to normality. And now things seem to be slowly creeping in the right direction in terms of transfers, in terms of all the latest news. And we've got plenty to discuss because it's been a ransacked 48 hours, but not from us going out and buying people, in terms of people coming to Liverpool and trying to prize the best from us. It's been a very busy time. Get comments in, I'll respond to all the comments, we'll put them up on screen, we'll go through all them, but we've got plenty to discuss today. Starting off with, it couldn't start off anywhere else, it is the biggest news. Let me just see if I can get it up here for you guys now. That Liverpool have announced the decision to retire the number 20 shirt. The number 20 shirt, Diogo Jota's number 20, is being retired by Liverpool Football Club in all aspects, from youth teams to the second team to the reserves to the senior side. All of it is getting retired, and rightfully so. This is the perfect decision by Liverpool. And you know what? Every single day, every single time that I wake up and I think about this club and I look at this club and observe it, I just get happier and happier. And this is such a terrific decision from Liverpool Football Club. This is absolutely the right thing to do in honour of someone who deserves to be remembered. And there was shouts of giving him a memorial match, giving him a statue, giving him a plaque. Every single person had different views on what they wanted to happen, but every single person in the same breath was unanimously decided that the number 20 shirt had to be retired. And it's the right thing to do. He will forever be our number 20. This was announced last night, following the discussion of what will be happening at the Preston match. We were told during the Preston game coming up this weekend, the first pre-season friendly, there will be a minute's silence. Both sets of players will wear black armbands. There will be a memorial to Diogo Jota, and we can expect to see this a lot more through pre-season and the season throughout. But this is terrific. Morning Lou, morning Reds, morning all. Everyone get involved in the comments. All of them will be getting read out. I will go through any topics of conversation that you want to know. Anything you want to talk about, go for it. Please make sure to click like and subscribe as well, because it really does help out. We're absolutely smashing it lately. As I said, I'm not Gags. You know, I'm not Jack. I'm not anyone that you've seen before. They will be back soon. I am essentially cover leave for them. I'm the substitute teacher coming in while they're off on break because they get time off. Good for them. And no, this was a decision that I think had to be made. This was following what had happened. I think it was wrong if the club had decided to continue using the number 20. And I understand that there's a lot of narrative around, you know, should kits really be retired? Does that make sense? You're essentially shutting it out forever. But this was absolutely the right thing. It becomes the 5th Premier League team in history to retire a football shirt. Obviously, QPR had Ray Jones. He was number 31 for QPR. Man City had Mark Vivian Foe, who had the heart attack, obviously, on the pitch, tragically passed away, number 23. Bobby Moore, number 6 for West Ham, speaks for itself. And Dylan Tombide's West Ham, number 38. Diogo Jota, 20, is the 5th Premier League team to officially retire a kit. Obviously, Rushden and Diamonds have done it, Wycombe Wanderers have done it, Birmingham have done it when Jude Bellingham left, because why not? This one is huge, and it's a monumental moment in the history of remembering Diogo Jota, not just as a player, but as a person, a top-tier footballer, a top-tier person, husband, son, father. He deserves to be remembered. And there's going to be so much more stuff happening. There's going to be so much more things to come in terms of memorials, in terms of remembering Jota for all the terrific moments he gave us. This is the first step in what will be a long and treasured time to be a Liverpool fan, because we will remember Diogo Jota not in mourning, not in sadness. We'll remember him for all the good memories he gave us. We'll remember him for all the positivity he gave us. And going forward, the lads will use this to motivate themselves. And I think if Diogo Jota's watching, and I think if Diogo Jota was still around, he would want his passing, his untimely passing, to be used as a motivator for what we do going forward. Not as a deterrent, not as a negative story around us. He would want it to be used in a positive way because he was a positive person. And this is the first step in truly remembering someone who changed modern Liverpool history, who has affected us in so many ways against Tottenham, Leicester, Wolves, Arsenal, City, Everton. He deserves this, and I'm so happy that the club took the initiative to do it. The video they put up of the Jota, the announcement, beautiful. It was spot on. It was absolutely beautiful to see the memorial scenes, the flowers that have been left by fans, the video itself, all of it was gorgeous. And it truly represents us as a club. That's how we are. And I'm so happy to see that he is getting this memorial. So glad they announced the retirement of number 20. Couldn't agree more. It had to be done. It was the absolute right thing. Where is the game being played? It's at Preston North End this Sunday. I want to say, is it Deepdale Road? I'm so bad with the names of anything that's not Premier League. But yeah, it's Preston North End. We play them 3 o'clock Saturday. This Sunday, the 13th. It's tomorrow, actually. I keep forgetting it's a Saturday because my day is just all blended to one. Morning Reds. Morning, everyone. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. I played EAFC 24 with my daughter last night and scored a hat-trick with Jota against Arsenal just so I could hear the video commentary shower praise on Diogo. Silly, but it made me happy. It's not silly at all. It's not. It's however you find happiness in tragedy. It's whatever you find to be the greatest way of coping with it. And some people will do things like that. Some people will shut it out. Some people will be open to it. Some people will still be in denial. There's no right way to deal with this circumstance. And if anything, that seems like a nice way of addressing the issues. That's, you know, I think that's a good way of doing it. Nothing wrong with that at all. Names special and few from Derek Martin as well. And look, I think there's been such a desire from people not to talk about transfers recently because of obviously everything going on Diogo. It feels wrong to be addressing who are we selling, who are we buying. But it's been such a busy 48 hours from our perspective in terms of people being sold that we have to address them. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to spend the next 20, 30, however long minutes discussing the ins and outs, or more specifically, the outs of Liverpool, because there has been a good few that have been touted. And we're going to start off with, I suppose it's the big one. Let me just see if I can, because I'm so unorganized apparently. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can get this up for you. That's not the right one. Yes, here we go. Forgive me. That's the one. So, Hugo Ekitike. Now, we've been in discussion about Ekitike for a long time now. There's been so much discussion about who Liverpool bring in as a number 9. We knew that we needed one going into the summer window. That was always a non-negotiable. That was always going to be a big priority. Nunez wasn't firing on all fronts. Jota last season obviously had his injuries, had his dips in form, still contributed in big moments though. The desire has always been to bring in a central attacker up top. Now, obviously, with everything that's happened, the desire has extended. It's clear that we need depth up top. It's clear that we're going to need people who can come in and really fill a role in that central striking spot. And Hugo Ekitike seems to be the name that is getting touted around. According to, this is Florian Plettenberg, Eintracht Frankfurt would like to keep Hugo Ekitike, also to be well prepared for the Champions League. Makes complete sense. However, Eintracht are expecting offers this month. Liverpool remain a concrete option. Newcastle have renewed their interest. That would be because they've just lost Callum Wilson and they missed out on João Pedro, of course. Manchester United is still there. Chelsea are currently unlikely due to the transfer of João Pedro, and they've also got Liam Delap, and they've just signed Gittins out wide, who can play centrally if you need him to. His price tag is €100 million, which translates to around £85 million, round about that mark. How will the poker end? Now, of all the clubs that got mentioned there's a few that just immediately need sort of discussing. We'll go over us in a moment, but Newcastle don't necessarily need Ekitike. I don't think that's someone that they particularly need to go out and sign. They've got Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak is arguably the best central striker in the league alongside Erling Haaland. Is Ekitike going to be happy playing a rotation option, or is he going to be used as a second striker when they've got two wingers? They've got, obviously, Anthony Gordon. Jacob Murphy's been the way he is. They've still got Harvey Barnes. They play with wide players. They play with a left wing, a right wing, and a striker. Is Ekitike going to be happy rotating around Isak? And is Isak going to be happy rotating around him? Probably not, which sort of spins the narrative of Alexander Isak is potentially leaving. It's every single window. There's always this thing where there's the domino effect. You sell one player to this club, they then sell to this club, they then sell to this club. Ekitike going to Newcastle could be the trigger that sends Alexander Isak a different way. Would it happen? Don't really know. Not 100% certain. But is Ekitike someone who Liverpool should be looking at? I don't think he's anyone's number one. I've seen people say they'd rather Victor Osimhen ahead of him, which, if that's who you prefer, fine. It's not my personal. I wouldn't be choosing Osimhen. I wouldn't be going near him. Alexander Isak, I think, is pretty much everyone's number one. Then you've got the likes of Julian Alvarez, who he'd be perfect for us. He can operate in that double 10 role. He can be a striker. He can play out wide. But there's been no discussions, no rumours, no nothing around him even going anywhere near leaving Atletico Madrid. So that's probably unlikely. Ekitike will be Isak replacement. And this is what I mean. Do we hold off on signing someone in the hope that Newcastle sign Ekitike, which pushes Isak the other way? Or do we go out and sign Ekitike just to get a number in the door? And I don't want to see us do that. It doesn't seem like we're too sold on signing Ekitike, because I think, given how quick we've moved this summer in terms of signing Wirtz and Kerkez and Frimpong and all these other big name players, if we wanted Hugo Ekitike, I think we would have gone out and got Hugo Ekitike by now. There's no Eintracht Frankfurt on in any competitions. They're not in the Club World Cup, so there's been no delay there. Liverpool clearly have the money. Obviously, what's happened this past week or so has slowed everything down to a dead stop, which is absolutely fine. That's completely understandable. But even before then, there were no bids. There was rumours of discussions. There were things like that. Nothing certain. And I think if we were certain on getting Hugo Ekitike, we would have went out there and we would have done it already, given how quick we've moved in the market, given that pre-season starts literally tomorrow, which I'm so excited for. We'll discuss that tomorrow morning because it's going to be me again. But I'm so excited for pre-season. And look, Hugo Ekitike is by no means a bad player. I'm not of the ilk that Hugo Ekitike is someone who we should be concerned about in terms of his ability. You can see here, so this is across all the top 5 leagues. Oh, no, sorry. This is across the Bundesliga, I believe, last season. Let me just double check. Yeah, so this is the Bundesliga last season. 0.53 goals per 90, which puts him in the top 19% of strikers in the Bundesliga. I understand it's the Bundesliga. There's a good few players that just aren't cut to be top-level pros, but Ekitike is definitely one of them, you'd have to imagine. And then you go down. So this is where he's actually his main strength is. So Hugo Ekitike is not someone who's going to get onto the end of things. He's someone who likes to use his speed. He likes to get in behind. But he's also someone who's good at picking up the ball and running with it. He's a progressive carrier. He's someone who's able to run into space with it. He's not like a Darwin Núñez where he's very quick. He can get in behind. He's happy to break down defences. But when he's on the ball, it's like a pig on a skateboard. With Hugo Ekitike, he's someone who is good and composed on the ball despite his frame. He's tall, he's a big player. He's probably about the same size as Núñez, if not a little bit taller, actually. But he's so comfortable with it. He's composed. He often plays on the blind side of defenders, i.e. he's able to adjust his body position depending on where the opposition's facing. He's also great against the back 3 or a back 4 because he can play in the air if you need him to, but he can play on the ball if it's against the back 4 and things are a little less spread out and compact. He's a very talented player who can play a myriad of different ways and styles. And I think in the Premier League now, there's so many teams that are going to be coming up, i.e. your Burnleys, i.e. your Sunderlands, things like that, who are going to play loads of different ways, lots of different positions. We've seen them play in back 3s. Burnley did it a couple of times. having a Hugo Ekitike could be a benefit. It could be someone who's a very positive player. He's good on the ball, capable of running behind. He's got a great shot on him, as you can see here. He's, in terms of his shots per 90, he's in the top 5% of the Bundesliga. Shots on target, he's averaging just under half of that. So he's got a 38.6% ratio, which is not bad, 50%. His passing, a pass completion rate of 75.5% per 90 for an attacker, for someone who's viewed as this sort of lanky, good at getting on the end of things player. That's good. That is a good ratio to have. The only problem you've got is he the finished article? No, he's not. And I don't think Liverpool can be in a position right now where we can sit there and say, we want someone for the future. We're showing this transfer window by signing Florian Wirtz and Kerkez and Frimpong and all these other lads, and signing Salah to a contract, and I've just lowered my chair, and Van Dijk to a contract. We're ready to go again. We're ready to go again straight away. We're ready to push for the Premier League again, the Champions League. We're ready to go for 21. We're ready to go for 7, 11. All these terrific things. Signing someone like an Ekitike represents someone who'd be good for now, but is someone who you're going to have to wait 2-3 years down the line to get the best out of. You sign an Alexander Isak, you're signing someone for now. It is just the price difference. However, should Ekitike make the move to Newcastle, should that be something that comes through, does the Isak price drop? Because he will force the move. He's not going to be happy being a rotation option with Hugo Ekitike. Obviously, with Callum Wilson, it's fine, because Wilson's either injured or he's not really good enough to be getting in the first team. Against the Hugo Ekitike, there's genuine competition there. And I think if you're Alexander Isak, you could go to Liverpool where you're going to get game time upon game time upon game time. Or you can stay at Newcastle with an Ekitike coming in. You'll have to rotate your minutes. You're the one with a few years left on your contract. For me, it's a no-brainer. I think if we're going for a striker, Isak needs to be the one we go for. Hugo Ekitike, not a bad backup option. Terrific, progressive runner with the ball. Great at receiving, great in the air. Terrific finisher. But he is a project. And we're not in a position right now where we can be viewing projects as first teamers. Florian Wirtz is 22 years old, yes. But he feels like the complete article. It doesn't feel like we're going to be waiting 2, 3, 4 years to get the best of Florian Wirtz. We will, but he's good enough now. Ekitike is talented. Ekitike has great ability in the Bundesliga. But what's he like outside of that? Is he going to be someone like a Darwin Núñez who thrived at Benfica but then comes to Liverpool, can't quite handle the Premier League and is a struggle? And 2-3 years down the line, we're in a position where we are now, where we're going to have to view what the best thing to do for this club is. Are we going to have to bring in another striker and spend copious amounts of money when the market's already thin as is? Or do we sign someone who's good to go now, can last us the next few years, and we just bring in a backup? We bring in someone who can operate behind him. I don't know. Best thing we could have done. I'm assuming this is about signing the retiring the Jota shirt. Completely agree, mate. No one is even disputing it. It's terrific. It's the best thing we could have done by far. It's on ITV1. It is Liverpool Preston North End tomorrow. It's on TV. It's also on LFC TV. It's on a myriad of different things. I'm not going to tell people how to where they can get their videos from. Right. Next thing then, because I think this is the one that a lot of people sort of were still kind of scarred after what's happened recently with the a certain someone. I'm not going to say who. Ibrahima Konate is Real Madrid's priority centre-back signing. He currently does not want to renew with Liverpool and is only thinking of joining Madrid. The Spanish club would prefer to sign him as a free agent next summer, but if a defender is sold, they could make a move in the window. I mean, I'm having deja vu. I feel like we've been down this road a multitude of times in recent years, and here we are again. We've just got the Salah, Van Dijk and Trent deals. Like, they're done. We know what happened. We know Trent left and went off to play snakes on a plane. We know Van Dijk and Salah have stayed and cemented their legacy. Take note, Trent. Ibrahima Konate, though, now we're going into his situation. 1 year left on his deal. Big name player. Key player for us last season in winning the Premier League. Arguably, I would say, up until that Real Madrid game, up until the injury he suffered in the last minute, He was our best centre-back last season. Up until that Real Madrid game, I think he was the best of him and Van Dijk even. He came back, Van Dijk had just excelled that level and just exceeded it and became the best. He's obviously the best anyway, but you know what I mean. But Ibu, say what you want about how he is conducting this. Last year, he was vital. He was imperious at the back, his sweeping talent. He makes up for the pace that Van Dijk's maybe slightly lost. He's the sort of the first line of defence. Van Dijk has become the sweeper, the tactician, the man who's coordinating everything. Ibrahima Konate is aggressive in the air, aggressive in the tackle, terrific slide tackle, someone who's so quick. And we saw that time and time again last season. He had very few poor games, and the poor games that he did have towards the end of the season were when Van Dijk isn't in the team. And that's something to remember. Is Ibrahima Konate good enough when Van Dijk isn't in the squad? Is he someone who's capable of becoming that mainstay centre-back when Virgil van Dijk is not in the team? We've seen it with Quanta, we saw it with Joe Gomez. Multitudes of defenders in Liverpool's recent history have looked amazing because of Van Dijk. And as soon as he's not there, things fall off a cliff. 2020, 21, there's no Virgil van Dijk because T-Rex decided to break his leg. We fall off a cliff. We have Ozan Kabak, we have Ben Davies, we have Henderson at centre-back, Fabinho at centre-back, Nat Phillips, Reece Williams, all these players. No one looked exceptional apart from like Nat Phillips maybe. And even then, he did a job. Is Ibrahima Konate good enough when there's no Van Dijk? That's up for debate. But last season in particular, he was top level. And there's a reason why all these clubs are after him. Now, what do we do about this? Because there's a lot of discourse, a lot of discussion. People are saying, if he won't sign, sell him. If he will sign, great. I've heard people say demote him to the reserves. I've seen people say just don't play him. There's no right answer, but there's definitely a wrong answer. The people who are saying drop him to the reserves, it's the most pointless thing because A, you're not getting to use him in the first team, so you might as well sell him. And B, you're just going to lose him for free at the end of the contract, so you might as well just use him until the contract runs out. What they're suggesting is don't play him, don't sell him for money. Lose him for free and don't play him, which is the worst scenario of the two of them. It doesn't make any sense. If we were given an option, if there was one option that I would rather have, I want to see how much we get offered for Ibrahima Konate. Because Madrid, as we saw with Trent, they offered very cheap money in January. They're willing to wait. They're not in an immediate position where they have to sign centre-backs. And I think if they're wanting Ibrahima Konate, they will be willing to wait until the summer. I want to see what money comes in because we're already in a position where we've just sold Quanta, so we need another centre-back. So Mark Gahey's being touted. Selling Konate means we're going to need to get another centre-back. So that's two centre-backs. We're also going to touch on Luis Diaz in a moment. So we probably need to go out and sign a left winger as well. That's going to be more money. We need a striker. And Nunez is potentially leaving, so we need two potentially. The sales are starting to affect what we're needing in a big way. If we can keep hold of Ibu for the season, even if he's leaving on free next summer, give us time to sort of build up and see what's going on, fine. But don't sell him if there's not a plan. And don't sell him if it's not for a decent amount of money. Because Madrid will come in and say, here you go, here's 20 million. What are you going to do? You're either going to lose him for free or get 20 million. So, yeah, your hands are tied at that point. Ekitike will be a signing like Darwin was. High potential for a similar fee. He might not be any more successful than Darwin. And that's my concern. And this isn't a dig at Darwin Nunez. But we're 3 seasons down the line. And I say this all the time. It's like my mantra. You can't be in your 3rd season as Liverpool's most expensive ever player, as our central striker who's tasked with leading the line alongside the likes of Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, whoever, and still have question marks over whether you're good enough. You either are good enough or you're not good enough. And Darwin Nunez is not good enough. He's a good player. I think if he went to La Liga, where there's a lot more space in behind, I think if he went to the Bundesliga, maybe he's terrific in the air, he'd smash it. The Premier League is not quite out for him, and Arne Slot's system does not suit the way Nunez wants to play. If this was Jurgen Klopp, I think he'd do a lot better because he's more aggressive in his approach. He's a lot more go, push. signing him in an on-slot system where everyone's given zones and it's a lot more tactically thought out, and he's asked to come in a deeper role, like a number 9, like a false 9 almost, good on the ball. I think he put up more switches to the far positions last season, Nunez, than he ever has in his career. He's being tasked with coming deep and controlling the ball and making things happen. He can't do that. Nunez is best when he's running into space with the ball in behind and is able to try and have a shot at goal. That's what he's best at doing. He's not this silky smooth dictator of play from deep up top. It doesn't work, and that's what Arne Slot wants, and I think that's why a Florian Wirtz is going to do great. I think that's if you sign a Hugo Ekitike, someone who ranks in the top 8% of progressive carries with the ball, that's why he would do better than Nunez would. But like you say, he's potential Ekitike. He could be a Darwin Nunez 2-3 years down the line. We can't be doing that. We need someone who's ready to go, ready to hit the ground running and absolutely smash it. And I think that's what we will do. And I think Isak should be the one we go for. If this is true about Ibu, he can pack his bags. I personally only want players who understand the privilege to play for LFC. All our new signings seem honoured to play for us. He's not irreplaceable. He's absolutely not irreplaceable. There's centre-back upon centre-back out there that we could bring in. And Ibu, look, for all I think he's an amazing player, Ibrahima Konate is top level when he's on form. When he's bad, he's bad. Last season, we saw definitely a progression in the way that he's able to control the ball. He's a much better passer of things here. I'll get stats up, actually. Give me 2 seconds. But there's been an evolution of Konate. At one point, you viewed him and you thought, he's a bit erratic. He's someone who you can't really trust with being a top-level centre-back. Obviously, injuries as well, but the injuries we can go on to shortly. But this is a big thing, though, for Ibu. It's that progressive carries and progressive passes. He's so much more forward-thinking now as a centre-back than we're used to seeing. He's developed into this ball-playing centre-back, and we saw that so much last season. Whereas under Jurgen Klopp, there was a lot more emphasis on utilising his pace, utilising his strength. You're just a defender. You don't have to be this ball-playing centre-back. He's developed. He's turned into a top-level centre-back with vital experience, title-winning experience. He's someone who I would love to keep at Liverpool. But like you said, if he doesn't understand the privilege to play for LFC, off you go. You're not the first. We've seen it with Owen. We saw it with McManaman, even though he got a little bit messed up on the way out, to be honest. Coutinho, Suarez, Torres, the list goes on and on and on and on. And Trent this year alone is the prime example. But if Ibu wants to go, there's nothing you can do to stop him. If he wants to make the move, fine. I would rather keep him, though, for the 1 year than lose him for 20 million. Because 20 million in today's market's worth sod all, if you think about it realistically. I would rather just keep Ibu and use him. I'd rather use him for next summer. At least we've got the option there, and then we can build to something a lot more positive. We can keep him and look to what we're going to do next. And that I've got no issue with that. I think that's the best thing to do. And there's people saying, well, what about his injuries? Ibrahima Konate last season suffered one injury, which lasted for 8 matches and 53 days. The season before, he suffered 2 injuries. Each injury was 4 matches missed. He missed 54 days. He missed the exact same amount of games this season through 1 injury than he did 2 last year, and the exact same amount of days bar 1. And people are saying, oh, well, he's got over this injury crisis. It's the exact same as it was the season before. He's not the most injury-prone centre-back. He had long stretches at the beginning, but he seems to have developed now. This system under Slot doesn't require him moving as much. It doesn't require him being so aggressive. It doesn't require him having to run his heart out, run his arse out to the point where his legs give out from under him. He's not needed to anymore. We control the tempo. We control the play. And that's why injuries were so few and far between last season. Konate is a beneficiary of it, and I would love to keep him. I think Ibrahima Konate could be someone that we can use next year. Wait till the contract runs out, off you go. Selling him for 20 million makes no sense. It just doesn't, because he's worth far more and we know that. But we're not going to get any more. And I don't see the point in losing a centre-back now for £20 million with then having to go out and sign someone new to come in, completely changing up the entire back line, because bar Van Dijk, that will be the entire back four has changed, and see what happens. I'd rather keep that stability in the middle with the two of them. And if he's going next summer, off you pop. That's absolutely fine. Real Madrid have told him the only way he joins them is going on a free. Crafty bastards. But, you know, they're smart. We've seen it a lot with them in recent years. They're very shrewd with their business. But hey-ho, it is what it is. Do you not think we need to make an example of Konate's situation to show others that running down contracts to leave for nothing shouldn't happen? Well, I'm sorry, but if the club were that serious, offer him a contract long ago. Don't wait until the season before his contract's in his last year. Give him one 2 years ago. If you're that serious about keeping hold of these players, examples should be made if they don't want to sign. But if you're leaving it until the year before, that's not his fault. That's a mixture. That's him and us. If you want to give these players contracts, you've got a long period of time to do it. Maybe they wanted to see how he adapted under Slot. Maybe Slot wasn't sure. There is a reason why Quansah started alongside Van Dijk in that first game of the season ahead of Ibrahima Konate. Maybe he didn't favour him and he just had to throw him in because Quansah was getting his arse smashed. There's a different way, and I just think that he shouldn't be getting punished for the fact that we haven't given him a new deal until now, and Madrid have come in when they have. If you don't want to play, fine. But the best example you can do is as much as I think we were wrong with Trent, maybe use Konate, win number 21, win number 7, and then off you go. Fine. Because if you get a cheap amount for him, you're losing one of your centre-back partnership. You're going to have to go out and sign 2 centre-backs now who are capable of playing at the top level. That's going to cost you X amount of money. We're also going to have to go out and sign a striker, which is going to cost us a lot of money. There's a lot of different variables. I just want to keep that stability at the back. Nunez/Napoli deal off, apparently. It was last time I heard. I have heard rumours that apparently they're going to come back in with a higher fee, but Napoli aren't stupid. They're not going to go out and spend 70, 80 million, like some fans are wanting. They're not stupid. They see the flaws in Nunez, but they also see the benefits. And there is a lot of benefits to Nunez. And I think in an Antonio Conte system, he'd absolutely thrive, Darwin Nunez. He's got so much space to work with. We saw what Napoli did last season. But they're not going to go out and sign and spend copious amounts of cash on someone where there's clear flaw, there's clear energy that gets wasted, a lot of missed chances, a lot of opportunities sort of passed Nunez by. We saw Luton, we saw Newcastle, we saw Villa, we saw Union Berlin. There's a lot of big chances that he missed. Other than Gehi, if that actually comes through, what other centre-back would you consider a viable option for us? So, if we're looking through, there's a good number. Let me just get the one that I want us to sign. If not, where are we? There's so many. I've heard people say Branthwaite, but obviously that's not going to happen anymore. This is the guy I want. If I can. I want Castello Lucaba. Now, this man from RB Leipzig. Oh my God. You're talking about centre-backs who are good on the ball and centre-backs who are good in the air. Lucaba he's top level. He is absolutely quality. I'll get his stats up now for you. But look, Liverpool now on a team who are very sort of, we're not in that Jurgen Klopp era where it's energy above all else. It's not. We're rarely not. We're more in a position of things whereby we like people who can control the ball, people who are good on it, people who are confident. This is Lucaba's stats in terms of a passing range from the last 365 days. So let me just see if I can share screen. Castello Lucaba. So in terms of switches, so Lucaba operates as a centre-back who's able to play he's able to push forward with the ball in the high line, but he's also capable of defending deep. He's able to ping the ball across the pitch. You see by the switches that he makes there, 0.51, which is in the top 14% for centre-backs. That's more switches per game than Virgil van Dijk, who Salah thrives off of those Van Dijk long balls. Lucaba is a top-tier player at doing this. He's amazing at passing the ball. Not only that, there's live ball passes and there's dead ball passes. He's someone who likes to keep the ball moving, like Liverpool do. We're not very stagnant. We like to keep things going. We like to keep things moving in order to spread the opposition. That's our best thing. Defensively, 2.74 tackles and interceptions per 90, 4.22 clearances per 90, 0 errors last season. He's also in the top 27% for blocks in the Bundesliga. Tackles in the attacking third, he's in the top 12% because he's an aggressive centre-back. He's almost like that Joel Matip thing where just because you're a centre-back doesn't mean you have to stay all the way in the back line. He's someone who's able to run forward. He's able to push and press the opposition. Just like we've seen with our back line, whenever the ball's put in the air, one of them will be near the halfway line to win it in the air. He's an aggressive-minded centre-back who's also composed in the ball. Touches, 82.47, puts him in the top 16%. He's very comfortable having it. Take-ons attempted, 1.83 in the top 2% of Bundesliga centre-backs, with successful take-ons at 1.14, which is the top 1% of Bundesliga centre-backs, with a success rate of 62.5. Carries, very high. Total carrying distance, carries into the final third. Passes received, progressive passes received, i.e. he's running forward. He's very good and composed on the ball, a good defender. He would be my next pick if we were to go out and get another centre-back. You can get him for a decent fee from RB Leipzig at the moment. He's not valued extremely high, but he's still very young. If I can just get his age up here, that'd be terrific. He is currently 22 years old. He's a France international. For me, I think it just fits the bill. It's just someone who absolutely fits the way in which Liverpool want to play, and I'd be more than happy to sign him next. Contracts were just in a mess. Hughes inherited it. Don't think we see the mess again. No, I don't think we do either, and I think this is just Konate is a sad beneficiary of the fact that he wasn't offered one earlier, and we're now dealing with the consequences of the actions. But I think you are absolutely right. Hughes has been spot on. The way he's negotiated the deals with Salah and Van Dijk, the Trent one was just out of his hands, I think, at that point. You know, snakes on a plane. The plane's taken off. He wanted to go. The league title is worth more than 20 million. Exactly. I would rather keep Konate, who's going to be a key component and is winning number 21, than sell him for £20 million, which wouldn't buy half of Mark Gahey. I don't see the point in losing him for that amount. It's pointless. I'd rather just keep hold of him, utilise his strengths, and get the best of him next season once again, because we would. And he's going to have Frimpong and Kerkez, a much more secure backline on either side of him. He's not going to be required to deputise for Trent bombing forward and losing so much space behind. There's no need for him to. Big up Reds, Lou, mate. Thank you very much. Big up to everyone. Get rid if you keep him. He isn't going to put his body on the line in his last year. Keeping him is a big risk of his injury record, or at least sign Gahey and make Ibu the backup. If we can sign Gahey and Ibu's happy being the backup, fine. I've got no problem with that. The injury record thing again, last year he had one injury, 8 games missed, and it wasn't even like it was his fault. He just got mugged by Real Madrid in the last second. The season before, he missed the exact same game, same days, 2 injuries separate. I don't think the injuries are too much of a concern. He may not give us all because he might not want to get injured ahead of a move to Real Madrid, but I don't know. I just think it's too much of a gamble losing him and then having to sign probably Gahey and having to sign another centre-back and then potentially another because we're already quite short in that department. You know, it doesn't make sense for me personally, but I can understand why people would be questioning his determination. We saw with Trent what happened there. We saw with McManaman in the season where he was leaving, like 99. In the last few months, he really dipped performance-wise. Morale went. He just didn't seem interested until that last game of the season against Wimbledon where he got the Guard of Honour because he put in such an amazing performance. Until then, his season, the last few months when Gerard Houllier came in, he really struggled, Steve McManaman. He just didn't manage to hit the ground because he knew he was going to be leaving and he couldn't hack it. So far, we've moved fast, but now I think we need to offload some players to fund further moves. We'll go again with Nunez and maybe Diaz, Elliott to leave. Well, we'll touch on Diaz in a second because we've already touched on Nunez. Elliott's probably someone who, you know, look, I'll be shocked if Elliott stays. I'm absolutely convinced that Harvey Elliott will probably be moving on this summer. I love Harvey Elliott. I want to see him kept, but I don't particularly see it. I think he's someone who is too good to be sat as a backup. He doesn't fit the way Slot wants to play. If you find the right mould, I think if you went to a Brighton, for example, I think Harvey Elliott would be incredible. You could maybe put him in an Aston Villa team. They've just lost Asensio back on loan. He's going to Fenerbahce. You could put him in that team. He's so capable in a multitude of different Premier League sides. I just think that if he was to stay, he's going to be a backup. He doesn't want that. He's too good to be. We've just seen what he did at the Euros. Won the competition, player of the tournament, man of the match, I don't know how many times, twice, I think, or 3 times. He will be leaving this summer. But I agree, there are a couple of players we probably do need to move on. We still got Tyler Morton in the ranks as someone who needs to get moved on. Simicast now, because we've got Robertson, Simicast, and Kerkez, or Robertson maybe even needs to go. There's so many players that do need, or obviously the Nunez one is now difficult given everything that happened last week. But yeah. Someone in another chat mentioned Charlie Cresswell from Toulouse. Don't know a massive amount. If you want to fill me in, if you want to, Tony Hall, if you want to put that in the chat, let me know what type of player he is. Absolutely fine. And thoughts of the chances of getting Rodrigo? Is it Isak or Ekitike? Now, Rodrigo we've seen what he's capable of. Rodrigo. Is there personality conflicts there? Is there someone who has got a bit of an attitude? We've seen what it's been like at Madrid for him. Maybe. But Madrid are in a position right now where they just want to get rid, I think. His wages will be high, of course, but they are when you're signing a multiple Champions League winning left winger who's of the top players in the world in that position. I know Arsenal are interested. I heard rumours at one point that Chelsea were, but they've just signed Gittins, so probably not now. I'd be happy with Rodrigo. I also am interested in Fofana from Lyon. There's a big number of players, but it depends what's happening with Luis Diaz. And that's the one that we're going to touch on now, because Bayern Munich have revealed what it would take to sign Luis Diaz. According to multiple reports, there is a gentleman's agreement between Liverpool that if they receive an offer of 80 to 85... Sorry, I'm allergic to Bayern's transfer bid. An 80 to 85 million euro fee for the Colombia star, then he can part ways with the English club. Diaz has also reportedly turned down Liverpool's offer to renew his contract. There's conflicting reports on that, given the fact that we've heard he said to the club, renew me or sell me. So that to me doesn't seem like he'd be getting a renewal and then going, not for me, sorry. It's a strange one. Do I think that Diaz will leave this summer? As the days are going on, yes, it's becoming more and more in my mind. I think Diaz will. Rodrigo could operate as that player that we bring in, should that happen. But I don't know. What are Bayern's terms for signing Liverpool's Luis Diaz? Bayern are not willing to pay more than 60 million euros in a fixed fee for Diaz, which is significantly less than Liverpool's estimation. That's significantly less than everyone's estimation. If Madueke is worth 50 million pounds, Diaz is worth 60, 70 at least. Last season, Diaz was one of our best players. And look, I've said a few times, I wouldn't lose sleep if Diaz left. As much as I admit that he's a very good player, he does have purple patches. He had that initial first 7 games in the season where he had 6 goal contributions. He dipped off for like 10, 15, came up good at the end of the season. And do I think we can be relying on someone who comes in big purple patches as and when? Not necessarily. But there is a terrific player there. There is someone who is very capable in this system of Arne Slot. He's great on the ball. He's best when he's running at players and running into space. Cody Gakpo is a different type of player. But for £40 million to 45 million, the balls on Bayern Munich to be offering that. If I go to the Ferrari dealership and say, right, I want this car for no more than a Freddo, you've got to, it's stupid, but you've got to applaud the optimism of trying to do it. Fair play to Bayern for trying it, but I honestly can't see this happening. I do think, though, given the fact that Barcelona now have made it very clear who their number one target is on the left wing, because apparently Barcelona have announced that Marcus Rashford is their clear left wing target. Poor guys. You're missing out on Diaz, so you're getting Rashford. You're missing out on Margot Robbie, so you're getting Greta Thunberg. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you've gone out and you've gone from approaching one of the best left wingers in Premier League top tier football to Marcus Rashford, who has personality issues, a high wage. Barca are expected to push for a deal and are prepared to go all in after Liverpool rejected their move for Luis Diaz and Nico Williams, renewed with Athletic Bilbao, according to Sky Germany. Obviously, Barca are in the market for a left winger. That's not been that's not news to anyone. Obviously, we saw what they did with Nico Williams. That all fell through last minute. We've also seen what's gone on with Luis Diaz. That's been a calamity, so to speak. Poor guys, man. Like, going from Diaz to Marcus Rashford is a fall from grace. And I don't know. I don't see him fitting at Barcelona. He's a completely different player to Rafinha or Lamine Yamal. I can't see it personally. But if that means that Barca aren't going to be coming in for Diaz, then so be it. But let me know, what do you guys think? in the comments down below. Will Liverpool sell Luis Diaz this summer? Should we be selling Luis Diaz this summer? Let me know what your thoughts are on all of the news we've touched on today, because it's been a busy few days, it's been a busy couple of hours, and yeah, let me know how you think of the stream. Make sure to click like and subscribe, guys. We are going to end it here. Just before we do, Tony Horse says, Cress well played alongside Quanta in the under-21s. I thought he had a better tournament than Quanta, but he would be a young fourth centre-back choice. Fine with that. I'm absolutely fine signing players for the future, as long as they are backups, not necessarily our first teamers. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really do appreciate you getting involved. It'll be me, same time, same place tomorrow. If you've enjoyed seeing me, then absolutely